an Afghanistan folklore. Once upon a time, there was a king who was kind, just, and all nice things a king could have, but except one problem. That was his worry. He is always worried about his future. Every day he would look at the sky and think, oh, what if there is no rain this year? I am doomed. He would go to his wife and he will think, what if my wife doesn't love me? Oh no, I'm doomed. So this troubled him a lot that he lost his sleep. One evening, the king disguised himself as a beggar and went into the streets and markets to check the welfare of his subjects. As he looked at his subjects, he again thought, what if my subject doesn't obey me? I'm doomed. As he was thinking that, he heard a voice. I have faith, all will be well. I have faith, all will be well. Now the king turned around, looked around, and he spotted where the sound is coming from. As he stepped forward in the same direction, he spotted a cobbler who was packing his needle and thread and all his tools to go back to his home. Now the king thought, how is this poor man? How could he have so much of faith? Let me find out. So the king secretly followed the cobbler, and on his way, he watched the cobbler buying a loaf of bread from a shop, and he entered his small hut. When the cobbler was inside, the king knocked at the door, and the door opened. Out came the cobbler with a bright smile on his face. Please, sir, asked the king, who was disguised as a beggar, could you please spare some food for a beggar? Of course, come in, welcomed the cobbler. As they were eating their bread, the king asked the cobbler, uh, why are you so happy today? Well, said the cobbler with a bright smile again, I I manned shoes today and earned enough money to buy this loaf of bread. Now the king said, huh? What if you don't get enough money? What if you don't earn for your tomorrow's food? All will be well. I have faith, was the reply from the cobbler. Now this thrilled the king that he started to move. But then he thought, I have to test this cobbler. How can he have such faith? Saying so, the next morning there was a decree passed by this king in the market. The decree was mending shoes is banned. Even that night, the king went to the cobbler's house, knocked at the door, and out came the cobbler with the same bright smile. The king was puzzled. Can I have some food, please? Of course, come in. I have rice and chicken today. Get in. So, as they were eating, the king asked the cobbler, now, I saw a decree in the market today that there is nobody can mend shoes. How did you manage to buy this food? Well. I have faith. All will be well. All will be well. I carried wood to buy this food. Ah, before leaving, thought to himself, I have to be even smarter and cleverer than I am. Saying so, the next day he passed a new order. The next morning, when the cobbler went to carry wood with the other wood carriers, a soldier, a soldier from the palace came forward and said, from today onwards, All the wood carriers would work as a security guards in the palace. Follow me. Soon, the cobbler, he has no other way, no choice. He followed by saying, I have faith, all will be well. So he followed, he got his uniform, worn it nicely, he got a silver sword, and he stood guard from morning till evening. The chief came forward in the evening and said, you all can go now and come back come back the next morning. So the cobbler went to the chief and asked, sir, could you please pay for me so that I can buy my food? Well, you have to prove for 1 month. You have to work for 1 month. Only then you will get your payment. Okay, I have faith. All will be well. Saying so, he went back. That evening, too, the king went to the cobbler's house, knocked at the door, and the cobbler opened with a bright smile on his face. And he welcomed, come, come, I have a feast today. I have chicken, I have cheese, and I have wine. Get in, let's share. But the king was totally puzzled. How come this man? Let me ask him. Saying so, the king asked, now, I didn't see anybody in the market carrying wood. How did you manage to buy this food today? Well, he started to narrate the story that happened from morning till evening, and he added, when I was coming back to my home, I pawned my silver sword and I got enough money to buy food for 1 month. But what are you doing now? Asked the king. I have pawned my silver sword, so I am just carving a wood piece so that I can fix it. I can fix it to the sword. And what if tomorrow if you need the sword? I have faith. All will be well, answered the confident cobbler. The next morning, the cobbler went to his duty at the palace, and there came a soldier grabbing a man. Here, he is a thief. The king asked you to cut off his head as a punishment. The thief immediately fell on the cobbler's feet and said, please spare me, please spare me. My family is starving. That's why I steal. Please. The cobbler stood tall and he closed his eyes and said a prayer within himself that is none other than, I have faith, all will be well. Saying so, he looked at the gathered crowd around him and he said aloud, oh God, if this man is guilty, let me behead him. If he is innocent, change my sword to wood. Saying so, he pulled his sword out, and to the surprise of the gathering, everybody said, miracle! By looking at the sword as it was wood. The king, who was watching all that happened there, he walked towards the cobbler and he said, do you know who I am? Of course, Majesty, you are the king, replied the cobbler. Well, now, yes, I'm the king. I am the beggar as well, who came to your house in the nights for the past 3 nights. Well, he was so surprised and the king said, well, you are appointed as my chief advisor. And you know what? You have removed the fear that I had within me about the future. I have faith. You have brought me faith within me. And the cobbler said, I have faith. All will be well. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much.